The jury has just been sent home for the night. They had a very long day where they heard the defense's side, then the closing arguments. They've had to pick a jury foreman, and now they've worked for about 2 hours. And I'm going to bring Greg in and ask that question. They've worked for 2 hours. They're going home for the night, come back tomorrow. Is this a good sign for the state, good sign for the defense, or is it a toss-up as it always is?
Gene, this is a typical sign. They're tired. It shows they're going to work hard. The main thing is they elected a jury foreman fairly quickly, which means they've got some unanimity in what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, typically they want to go eat, shower, and then get up and deliberate. The fact they work 2 hours, I think, is a good sign, but I don't think you can call it either way.
Yeah. Of course, there are 17 different counts, and within each of those counts, they've got different levels of crimes. So they have to work their way through. So even if they were agreed on everything, they would still have to work deliberately through each of the counts.
And that's interesting because typically what you do if you're a foreman, at some point you take a poll. But when you have a case of this complexity, when you have 17 different counts, it takes a while to work your way through the legal elements. And I think basically what you do is kind of get the lay of the land. What do you think generally? And then let's have a good night's sleep and then get to work, because it's a lot of work going through 17 counts.
All right. The makeup of this jury, both in gender and in race, has been some question among the viewers of this trial. There are 6 blacks, 6 whites, there are 7 women, there are 5 men. Does that have anything to do, those different makeups, does that have anything to do in terms of the outcome of this thing?
Absolutely. And because of pretrial publicity, you do not have a jury veneer from Knox County, where we have a 16 to 14% African American population. We went to Jackson, and you have a basically 50% African American versus Caucasian, and that's very significant. Jury selection experts tell you it's significant. A totally different demographic. You have, unlike the Baumgartner trial in federal court, an equal amount of men versus women. And there was probably consultants. I think I noticed at least one in the courtroom during jury selection. So you're going to see a different jury, and it's very unusual in Knox County. Typically when you have a jury from out of county, you go to Rutherford County, you go to Chattanooga, Hamilton County, you go to Davidson County. But going to Jackson really has changed the complexion of this case.
The last question, criminal responsibility. The state has to prove that Vanessa Coleman did willingly facilitate these crimes. How difficult is that?
All right, first of all, let's go to the basics. What is the standard of proof? The defendant does not have to prove anything. The state must prove each and every element on 17 counts beyond a reasonable doubt. Criminal responsibility has a lot of components, but in this case, did she promote or assist in these felonies that she knew were happening? She had to have the same culpability. So it's she didn't have a duty, unlike if you're somebody that was charged with law enforcement or whatever. So that's going to be the problem, and that's going to be what this jury is going to do when they work through this jury charge and the indictment tomorrow. But Gene, it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I think the state really hit home when they read her diary, because like most criminal cases, the worst testimony that you hear in a trial is the words of your own client, and you can paint her as a hostage or a Patty Hearst, where you're under this captor kind of thing and you can't get away. She was here having a fun, quote, weekend, going home with a crackhead that was nice. But if Lavette did his job, and I thought that the closing was very powerful, if that jury reads this, anything can happen tomorrow.
Let me end it there. Thank you, Greg, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Always a pleasure.